Welcome to the Norfolk Hospice and Ascot Lloyd later life planning session, and thank you for joining us. My name's Mark Juniper. I am one of the business development managers for Ascot Lloyd based at Kings Lynn, and I'll be your host for the next 5 minutes or so. Today we want to help answer some of the questions you may well have around estate planning and inheritance tax planning. Here to help us with that is my colleague Lewis Jones, one of our local independent advisors, who's here to give you some more context around this. So welcome, Lewis.
Thank you.
Lovely surroundings, isn't it?
Indeed.
So let's get cracking with it. Show on the road, as they say. What's meant by estate planning, Lewis?
So estate planning is making sure that you're passing your estate on to your loved ones and beneficiaries as tax efficiently and sensibly as possible.
Excellent. Okay. And if we were to look at the key areas that someone were, considering all their options, what would they need to think about?
Yeah. Firstly, writing your will is quite important, and then succession planning or how you plan to pass your estate on to your loved ones.
Okay, so there's a few things to consider.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay, in terms of inheritance tax, I've heard this phrase mentioned many a time. I always thought it was just for the super rich.
No, not at all. So inheritance tax can affect all of us depending on the value of your estate when you die. So to give you a bit of detail, so everybody gets a £325,000 nil band allowance. So for a married couple, you get two lots of that, so 650,000 of the estate is taxed at zero on second death. In addition to that, there's a new residential nil rate band which can be used against your main principal property, providing it's left to linear descendants. So for, again, a married couple, two lots of 175,000 is available, provided the value of your home falls within that value. So for a couple with a property worth over £300,000, in theory you could have up to £1 million that's taxed at nil on death. Everything thereafter is taxed at 40%.
Okay, so again, quite a lot to consider. One of the things you mentioned slightly earlier was around the will situation, making sure that you have a will and up to date, presumably equally as well.
Of course.
Just talk to us around why that's so important.
Yeah, so wills are really important. A lot of solicitors tell me that their clients haven't updated their wills often enough. So making sure that your will is clear and concise, there's no ambiguity, you're not leaving siblings rivaling for your estate or contesting it in any way is really important. And when it comes to writing your will, there's a few other things you could consider, which is power of attorney. So power of attorney isn't giving up access to your estate or your capital. It's allowing someone else to make decisions for you should you lose mental capacity. There's two types of power of attorney. There's health and wealth and property and financial affairs. And if you're writing your will, it'd be a good idea to get that done at the same time.
Okay, so we're here in Norfolk Hospice today, lovely surroundings. If someone wanted to leave a gift to their to the Norfolk Hospice in their will, but that their will had changed a little bit from previously, how easy is that to get that amended?
Very straightforward. So to amend your will, you would go and see the person that set your will up normally, so a solicitor or a will writer, and have a codicil to make whatever changes you deem necessary. When it comes to making gifts, which is an important point you raised there, Mark, if you make a gift of 10% of your total estate, then the government will give you a 4% reduction on any inheritance tax due. So instead of being charged at 40%, it's charged at 36%. Not a lot of people know that, and sometimes people make gifts not realising they've gifted 9% of their estate. If they'd just gone that extra mile, that they could have benefited from a reduction.
And that's with charities specifically in mind, such
registered
as
charities.
Chaplain House.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So one other phrase that I've seen talked around many a time is this phrase called succession planning. Just talk to me about what that is and why that's so important, if you would.
Yeah, sure. So succession planning is making sure you're passing on your estate as you wish to your loved ones and the people that you care about. So gifts can be made in your lifetime rather than just everything going in your will when you die. So it's about making sure you make gifts at the right time to the right people and in the right way, maybe using trusts or by paying into investments and things for family and loved ones.
And I know you've got a really good example to share with us here about a client that you've dealt with recently. And I know you're great with these sorts of phrases, etc. There's a phrase that I know you told me about this gentleman in particular as well. Do you want to just share that?
Yeah,
well?
sure. So I've got a client who's 92 with 3 great-grandchildren, and he was quite keen to make sure his will was in order. And in fact, what he ended up doing was making gifts during his lifetime rather than just through his will. So he was able to sit down with his grandchildren around a table and say, look, I'm going to pay some money into your pensions, and I'm going to set up some trusts for you for later on in life. Obviously that was really enjoyable for him to do with his family, but it's a gift that he will never see come to fruition. So when his grandchildren come to retirement, that gift will have had 50 odd years to grow. And it's the same scenario as planting a tree whose shade you'll never sit under. He got immense satisfaction from doing that, and I'm sure his grandchildren will be immensely grateful when they come to retire.
That's a lovely story, and I think that just goes to show the power of what is achievable.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
So, as I'm sure you'll agree, Lewis has shed a good bit of light on a snapshot of all around the inheritance tax side of things, and the very basics to consider, I guess. Everyone is different, though, so Lewis and I and our colleagues indeed would be more than delighted to have a free, no obligation chat with anyone to see how we can help. Isn't that right, Lewis?
Absolutely.
Lewis's contact details will appear at the end of this, so you will be able to contact him directly. I think all that's left to say really, Lewis, is thanks for joining us. We've enjoyed doing this today, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.